substantially narrower than your loom, you're likely to get a lot of bend in the, what's this called? Front stick. To eliminate that, you undo the ties that are outside of the width you're working on, and then it just stays straight. Just notice there's a little bit of a bend here. Okay, so the first thing that you need to ask yourself is which of these colours do you imagine being the block and which is the background?
Have the blue as the block.
Okay, makes sense. So that means we're going to start on the solid colour formula.
Okay.
And the first one that you throw in is the one that visually will become your background. So if you all start on that first formula with a 1, the first shuttle you throw in is going to be your background. I said I throw it from the right. That isn't correct or wrong. It's just a habit. So I'm going to keep that habit going. And it's also this shuttle. Now again, we're a bit limited for space here, but this is the one that's going to stay nearest the fell line. So if I did have a lot of space, I'd maybe put that one there and the other one in my lap or something like that. So there's a whole page dedicated to starting. And what it says is, I'm going to paraphrase it because I obviously don't have it in front of me. The shuttle is thrown all the way across. 3 ends are left hanging out. It then says weft A, which is any one of those 3, is pulled back into the shed and exited by a raised double thread, so in effect it never gets to the edge. Okay. Wefts B and C, the 2 remaining ones, wrap around the selvage triple thread once, twice, and then go back into the same shed, one of them exiting the other side of that double thread that the first one came out of, and the remaining one keeps going until it finds the next raised double thread. Now we're dropping everything off by double threads, so it's going to ease with our darning in later. Okay, we touched upon one of the reasons for having the double threads. So pull it up. Now 2 of us are on floor looms. For those of you on the floor looms, at this point take your feet off the pedal. Don't let go of this. Here we obviously have to let go and everything sort of springs in a bit. Close it, pull it tight again if you wish, pinch it in the middle and bring it down. I'll just tell you this out of interest, but you can't really do it on these looms here. When I'm beating, when I'm doing that whole falling back thing, my foot is pressing the next pedal in sequence. So in effect, as I fall back, I'm opening the next lift. So by the time I've hit, the next shed is open, so that really locks it in place and it saves time. You just sort of get into this rhythm. So the next one is the other colour. Start from the other side. I'm going to do the same for those that didn't see so well on the other side. All 3 ends are hanging out. You pull 1 in so it doesn't reach the edge, coming out by a double thread. The 2 that are at the edge wrap around the selvage triple once. Once again, go back into the shed. One of them comes out the other side of what the double that the first one dropped off at. The remaining one keeps going until it finds the next raised double.
So if you've only got 2 ends,
one of them doesn't reach the edge, the other one wraps around the selvage, comes back in and comes out the other side of where the first one was dropped off.
Okay.
Up at the angle. When you're pulling this angle, pull it tightly, but pinch this selvage so you can't pull the selvage in. Close the shed. Pinch, pull, and beat. So I'll just go through a couple of other things. So through. Now, when I demo, I probably won't be doing this all the time, but I don't mind how this weft lies in this shed. If there's some twist in it, I'm okay with that. But what I do make sure of, that there is a tendency in hand-woven rugs for there to be loose weft at the selvage. Now, I obviously made that happen. So I do this motion here of, God, it's so hard on a smaller scale, of pulling. And so that's getting rid of the excess slack, but as I'm pulling, I'm sort of feeding it through my thumb and fingers, so by the time I let go here, they are all sitting on top of each other on the edge. There's no twist over at the edge. Now, as I said, when I demo, I probably won't be taking too much care about that, but believe me, I do when I weave the rugs down. Let's get that. And 2, 3, 4. And we're going to do the same on this side. We're going to leave a pretty big loop. Just give it a gentle pull. Really is no way of doing it. As you're doing that gentle pull, you're trying to teasing them out so they're all stacking on top of each other. So by the time that you let go, they stack on top of each other at the edge. Just want to go through it one more time and see if I can get to a point where I can show you something. So give it that little pull to eliminate that excess slack. Sometimes you can lift that just out of the way so it's sort of not getting in your way. Just slide it down again. One thing that I don't want you to be doing is what I'm going to do now. And see a lot of people getting into this, in my view, bad habit is, I haven't got to the point where I'm doing it yet, so don't worry. At this point, you see how much I've been able to tighten this since I started weaving? That looseness on the back, what I talked about this morning. What you should do is pinch there and keep this hand still. A lot of people, they sort of get into a rhythm whereby instead of pinching here, they put this finger in here, and as they pull this down, they move that finger up. Now, if you take a look at that selvage whilst I do this, you're pulling the selvage in. By pinching here, you are protecting that selvage. And don't worry if you can see warp at this point. The effect of the beat is cumulative. If you're still seeing warp after 2 inches, then we have a think about what we can do to try and rectify that. Giving it that little pull, trying to get them lining up around my finger or thumb, whichever is most convenient. Pinch. Now, I don't know if you can see, but what we're seeing is we're seeing a very dominant light blue at the edge, but they're starting to get those little darts of dark blue. Now, you might think, well, I want it to be all light blue. If it was all light blue, that would be telling you that your blue was too loose around the edge and it was sliding all the way over the dark blue. In my mind, a perfect edge, or as good an edge as you can get, has those little diamonds of the other colour just showing. That's telling me that you're pulling everything nice and tightly and you're going to get a good firm edge. Now, I would never weave a rug without using a temple, and I'll talk about